channel. Wow, April is gone. I cannot believe it. April went so fast. It wasn't funny. Yeah, I didn't do too bad. I think April kind of kept on point with my reading goals this year. But anyway, let's get into it. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and we can continue to talk more about books. And it's great to see you all here, and I can't wait to see you all again in my next videos. But let's wrap up April, guys. So April, I read 25 books in total. Wow. Okay, that was like a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie. But I think a lot of the books I read I really enjoyed. If you have already or you haven't, I'm having a lot of fun over on TikTok exploring the reverse harem romance subgenre. Don't forget to jump on over there and find me, and you can see how much fun I'm having with these BDE guys and multiple guys for one MC, and it's just fantastic. So this month I read a lot of series, I guess, a lot of reverse harem series, and so that was kind of how I got to 25 books, because I just like to just kind of read a whole series as I go. So let me tell you about the series, and I will show you the photos. All of them were read on my Kindle as well, which kind of makes it a bit difficult to like show physical books. Even like when I do my wrap-ups on my Instagram channel, my Instagram page, not my Instagram channel, what am I doing? But even when I do like wrap-ups on there, it's really difficult when it's all on my Kindle, because I can't be like, here's a stack of books. So yeah, it's a bit frustrating, but anyway. So I read a lot of Eva Ashwood this month, last month, and that is because I really like Eva Ashwood. Duh. But so basically last March, this March just gone, like March, I think it's April still, I don't know why, but March I read Vicious Kings by Eva Ashwood, and then I was like, oh, and then kind of like March rolled over into April, and then I was like, oh, okay, let's just continue on with Eva Ashwood then, because she does reverse harem really well. And so the first book I read for the month of April was Fight Dirty, and basically I gave that one 4 stars. And basically, so it's about this girl, Mercy. It's set kind of new adult-ish, kind of, because she's like college age. But basically, Mercy watches her dad be beat up by like a local gang member, and so like he like owes this guy money, and so then Mercy offers herself up as a trade, and so then she basically falls in love with all 3 of the guys who are her captors, because they were the 3 people that were tasked with looking after her. And so yeah, it's really nice. It's a really nice book, very steamy, highly recommend for steam. The second book in the series is Play Rough. I gave this one 3 stars, just because it kind of dragged a little bit. It wasn't as interesting as the first book, and yeah. The next book in the series was Wreak Havoc, which is the 4th book. I gave that a 3rd book, sorry. I gave that 4 stars. Dyslexic moment there. But so basically, as the series kind of progresses, the gang is like having issues with a rival gang, and so like they're like stealing money and like stuff like that. And so basically, Mercy starts to kind of just insert herself into gang business, and then she finds out that actually her uncle is in the rival gang. Yeah, I'm not gonna like spoil it all for you, but anyway, the 4th book was called Love Hard, and basically that's, you know, just the giant conclusion to the story, and we get our happily ever after, which is, you know, what we want. There's a lot of violence, there's a lot of guns and gang stuff, I guess. Yeah. And so then the next series I read was Havoc at Prescott High by C.M. Stunich. I may be pronouncing that wrong. It may be Stunich. I don't know. But basically, yeah, Havoc. I've really loved this series. Wow. The only issue I really had with it is why name an MC Bernadette? It just doesn't work for me. When I think Bernadette, I think this little pipsqueak blonde girl that has a really high voice. I guess I can thank Big Bang Theory for that, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't work. Like, her name needed to be something other than Bernadette. And she didn't really have a nickname. It was always Bernadette, so it just, that was my only like real pet peeve with this book. But basically, the way Havoc works is, they're like the bad boys of Prescott High, the Havoc gang. And so it comprises of Hale, Oscar, Victor, I can't remember, what are their names? Callum and Aaron. So Aaron was actually Bernadette's first love, and then basically he joined Havoc and then broke it off with her, and so he was like, you know, in true reverse harem, like, we don't want you anywhere near us kind of jazz. I don't know what's going on with my hands, but I seem to be talking with them. But basically, yeah, so Havoc, Bernadette's life is shit, and so she just decides she's got a list of 7 people who she despises, and she wants Havoc to take care of. And the way Havoc works is once you call Havoc, then they get Oscar to come and he will create a list of pros and cons about the job, and then he'll devise a price, and if you can pay that price, then they will do their job for you, and they're in your service. So basically she calls Havoc on the list of 7 people, and the price for Bernadette was to become a Havoc girl. So yeah, I gave that 4 stars. I really liked it. This book does kind of borderline a bit on bully romance. So just be a bit careful if you're someone that gets triggered easily. Perhaps read the warnings before diving into this series. There's quite a lot around rape, not you know that they did this, but there's just some of the themes in this book can be quite heavy, and so just for people that are triggered, I would just kind of be careful. The second book in the series is Chaos, and I gave that one 4 stars as well. I pretty much read this book, there's 5 books in the series, obviously with reverse harem, depending on the amount of guys, depends on the amount of books. So there's 5 books, 5 guys. And so basically I read the whole thing in like 3 days. It was just phenomenal, like you just could not stop it. And so then the third book is Mayhem. So basically as we get to each book, I gave that 3 stars. Mayhem was probably the worst one in the whole series, just because it was quite slow, not much happened, it wasn't very steamy. But yeah, so basically what happens is as you kind of work your way through the series, each of the people on her list get taken care of, but then we kind of get another thing that happens, which I'm not going to tell you about because you've got to read it. And there's, yeah, obviously there's other things that happen along the way, and issues and reasons why, you know, the 5 of them in reverse harem have problems, I guess. And so yeah, you kind of go through all that, which is great. But yeah, so basically 5 books, 5 guys. With each book, you kind of see her relationship change with each of the guys. Obviously, the guys from the previous book are still really present in the next book, but it just kind of, yeah, each book, it's got a stronger theme of like a one-on-one relationship, as well as like the amount of group that have already been interacting with her. And so the Anarchy is the 4th book. I gave that 5 stars. Really steamy stuff coming here, because we're getting to like more guys in the scenes. So, and the 5th book is Victory, and I also gave that 5 stars. Great series, really recommend it, especially if you're a reverse harem person. Really recommend it. And then the next thing I watched was I would not be watching this on TV, that's for sure. The next thing I read was Kings of Florentine. Be warned when picking this book up. It's quite, the bullying in this book was almost a bit too much for me, if I'm being completely honest with you. I kept reading it and I was like, okay, like, when's this gonna change? Like, when are we gonna get to the whole, like, I hate you, I love you part? Because it's just being like, I hate you, I'm going to kill you. And so it probably pushed the envelope a little bit too far for me. But other than that, I also did not like, Kings of Quarantine literally had one steamy scene in it, and it was like 590 odd pages. And I was like, one steamy scene? Like, I may as well just read romance that's sweet and beautiful, and it would only have one steamy scene in it. You know? So I gave it 2 stars as a whole. I also didn't agree with why that steamy scene was like right at the start. Yeah. A lot of people rave about this series, and I guess it's the same with like Den of Vipers. Like, a lot of people love it, and yeah, it was okay. It was okay. So then I read the second book, which is Kings of Lockdown. I also gave that one 2 stars. There was a bit more steam in this. I am halfway through the third book. I'm really struggling to finish it, to be honest with you. But basically, this whole series is about a virus, the Hades virus, being released. And so what happens is my camera died. That was great. But that's okay. I have a second battery. Okay, so where was I? So basically, Avery gets dropped off to Everlake Prep. And so her dad is the scientist who devised the Hades virus, which basically starts randomly killing people. And so Everlake Prep is run by 3 guys: Saint, Cayenne, it may not be Cayenne, K-Y-A-N. I say Cayenne like the blue colored ink in my printer, but it could be like Cayenne or Cyan. I don't know, I call him Cayenne. But, and Blake. So those are the 3. So Saint, Cayenne, and Blake are the 3 that run like Everlake Prep. They're like these 2 like super entitled guys that like, they're so like BDE, it's not funny. And then basically on her first day she runs into Monroe, who is a teacher, but he's like really hot. He's only 24. And basically the chemistry between these 2 is off the charts. But basically, so she gets dropped off, the Hades virus gets released, people start dying, Blake's mom dies, and basically then the boys then turn around and take it all out on her because her dad was the one that created the virus. And then they eventually start liking her, and yeah, it's okay. So the second book, yeah, Kings of Lockdown. I gave that 2 stars as well. There was a lot more steam in this one, but like I said, like the tendencies of violence was just kind of probably a bit too much, pushing the envelope slightly. Like the bullying was just, yeah. That was just, you know, just my little opinion. And then I read this by L. Thorpe, which is Devious Little Liars, the Saint View High series. I gave the first book 4 stars. Basically what happens in this series is that the main character, who is, I forgot her name, but the MC, basically her uncle gets killed in front of her, and so she gets carried out of a building like half unconscious, and she notices a football jersey, and so she decides to go to the school where that football jersey was, and there she meets Colt, Banjo, and Wrath. And so those are like the 3 guys that obviously become her harem. But basically, like, you know, in true reverse harem fashion, they're all like, you need to leave, you don't belong here. Turns out that it was actually Colt that carried her out. Oh, I think I just ruined the story. Sorry. Spoilers. But basically, yeah, so she kind of starts falling in love with Banjo, and each of the boys have their own like twisted kind of turgid history. What I really liked about this book, I am not one for like the virgin trope. I hate the virgin trope. But this one had virgin trope, and I actually enjoyed it. So I did give it 4 stars. I also gave the second book in the series. The second book in the series is Dangerous Little Secrets. I gave this book 4 stars as well. And then there's the third book. So basically the whole time she's trying to find out who killed her uncle and who carried her out of the building. I just gave away who carried her out of the building, but I've not given away who killed her uncle. That is for you to find out. So yeah, I gave the whole series 4 stars. It was fantastic. There is a spin-off series coming out, I think on Saturday, and it basically follows her auntie. Yeah, I'm not going to explain why, but it follows her auntie. Go check it out. And so then, because I really got into Sheridan Anne while I'm still waiting for the third Dynasty book to come out, I decided I would give another series of hers a go. So this is Ugly Girl, which is Aston Creek High. I gave this one 3 stars. It was not that good. It is kind of a bully romance, I'm not gonna lie. But basically, in this book, what was her name as well? Jesus, I read so many books, I forget all their names. It's really bad. But Slade was the guy. So basically what happens is she goes to a new school. No, sorry. Let me start again. What happens is the MC, her parents are killed in front of her, and so she gets like sold off to this other family, and then they basically sell her off for her 18th birthday. But then her and her brother Blake manage to run away, and they go find their auntie who they didn't know existed, and they stay with her, and then they go to the local public school, and there they meet Slade Cruz, and Slade Cruz basically just makes her life a living hell, and oh, it's great. Highly recommend this book. The first book didn't have a lot of steam in it, the second book had a lot of steam in it, and so forth. Just in true typical Sheridan Anne fashion, the steam is amazing. This is not reverse harem, this series, but basically, yeah, the second book is called Lost Girl. I also gave that 4 stars. And the third book is Wild Girl. I gave that 4 stars, and the fourth book is Real Girl. There we go. Yeah, so it's set in high school, but the themes around it are a lot more adulty. I would also recommend people watch and read the warnings, because there is also a lot about selling people off within this. A lot of the themes are kind of not really prostitution, but there is a bit of that, and there's just some themes that should be watched, I guess, because they can be seen as triggers. So then I read Denna Vipers. I gave that 2 stars in total. Steam-wise, 50 million. I really, like, steam-wise, amazing. But I just felt like a lot of the characters in this book were not portrayed properly. I didn't really like the storyline. It was very similar to the Black Rose Kisses series that I'd already read that month, and that was kind of a bit like, ugh. But like steam-wise, you don't get much hotter than this book, honestly. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that book. But anyway, then I read Pretty Little Savage by Lucy Smoke, and I gave this book 3 stars, and the reason why I did is because there was no steam in this book. I mean, I loved the banter, I loved the wittiness, I loved the chemistry, but they did not close the deal. Why? That was really frustrating for me. Like, yeah, let's move on to the next one. I just needed them to close the deal. I'm sorry, I just needed it. Like, in this genre, you need it, you know? And so then the next book I read was another Eva Ashwood, Who Breaks First. This was also reverse harem, and I'm going to be honest with you, I have already forgotten the MC's name. I remember that the 3 main was Reese, Trent, and West were the guys, but basically what happens in this book is it kind of jumps, so it's set in college, but they all knew each other in high school, and basically Trent blames, I can't remember her name, blames her for, you know, his parents divorcing, and so then Trent and the MC's parents, dad and mom, get together, and Trent hates it and blames her more, and so they make her life a living hell. And yeah, the first book, it was like a bit bullyish, to be honest with you, but that's alright. Then the second book was Who Laughs Last. I gave that 4 stars. So basically this book was a bit unique in the sense that it went from a trajectory and then it just kind of changed completely. And it was something I actually really enjoyed. I guess that's how you were able to make 3 books out of it, because otherwise it kind of could have been finished by the second. But because they added in a loophole, that was how you got the 3rd book. And then the third book was Who Falls the Hardest. I also gave that 4 stars. There was a lot of steam in that one. And yeah, that was that. Eva Ashwood. I can't remember her name. Oh, anyway, will come to me. Then I read My Bloodline, which I was like, I read the blurb for it and I was like, I don't know if I'd like this. And then I was like, no, don't be silly. Like, it sounds really cool. Basically, what it's about is there's a school, like an academy for people of bloodlines that are criminal syndicates. And so I know that's just like, whoa, what a storyline. So basically what happens in this book is Luna is randomly taken from her little boxing ring, because she's a boxer, and she's just thrust into, oh, you have to go to the academy for a year. Guess what? You have 3 bloodlines from 3 criminal mastermind families, and you are a ace, which is like the top tier of criminal families, and you basically have to survive until the games at the end of the year, and then from then on your life is set to just take jobs. And so Luna, like, she's like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? And she gets to kind of the academy and everyone hates her because, like, they think she's like Totem's long lost heir, and Totem like threatens to underpin and uphaul their whole kind of system and everything. And so being an ace, she only sits in like the ace house, and the ace house only has like 6 people that live in it. So they're all like really good friends, and it's like 4 guys, and so they all become her guys. So it's really great. Loved this book. I started reading the second book and I was like really into it to start off with, but it's gotten boring now. So I've kind of like, I'm halfway through it. It was a bit, I guess this series has kind of taken a bit of a nosedive. It was great. The first book was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And the second book, it was kind of like, okay, when are we going to get to the point now? Like, it's a bit frustrating. And then the last thing I read last month was, I finished off the month nice and really cute and sweet, and it was just, Emmy and the Tudor King. And I actually was given this as an ARC, so that was super exciting. But basically, Emmy and the Tudor King has everything that my little heart desires. So it follows a time travel. So if you're a fan of Outlander, which I am, it follows alternative history, which I just love the idea of alternative history, because I suppose it's decisions that people have made in the past that have led us to where we are today. And it's like, what if that didn't happen? Like, where would we be right now? Like, what would be happening right now? So like, that is always something that plays on me. And I don't know why, like, I've just got this obsession. There's 2 royal families that will always get me to read, listen to, or watch, and that's the last Romanovs. I'm obsessed with them. And of course the British monarchy. And so basically this book follows, like, if Queen Elizabeth I actually had children with Robert Dudley, and so she had Nicholas and then a daughter, Kit. And so basically Emmy is in like 21st century, and she gets thrown back to 400 years. She gets thrown back 400 years, and she basically meets Nick, and she's like, I'm from the future, and he's like, no you're not, and yeah, he comes to the future, she goes to the past. Like, it's fantastic. I gave that 4 stars. I really liked it. Obviously, the only thing that would have made it so much better was if there was a little bit more steam. It is a YA book, so it's not going to be extremely steamy, but I would have just liked just that little bit more. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed that book. The research that went into that book is just amazing. The amount of work that went into that book, it's really well written. Would recommend that in a heartbeat. But that is me and my 25 books for April. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time. Hopefully I will be doing an unboxing. I finally got off the waitlist for Illumi Crate, and I cannot wait to do my Illumi Crate unboxing. For some reason it's taking like 50 bazillion years to get here, but it should be worth it. I will see you all next time.